Hi guys, welcome back to the Distinction Factory where we make our mark. And today we are going to be focusing on the sum or difference of cubes, which is a new type of grade 10 factorization that has been added in this year. So before we can get started on our steps for sum or difference of cubes, let's first see how to identify whether we can use this factorization. So in order to identify it, we need to have two perfect cubes, and perfect cubes are anything that can be cube rooted. So numbers like 8, 27, 64, etc. And next, we need to have variables that have exponents that are multiples of 3. So things like 3, 6, 9, etc. From there, once we've identified that we can use this type of factorization, our first step says that we need to open out two brackets. Your second bracket is going to be slightly longer than the first bracket because it needs to fit in a trinomial. Step 2 says that we need to cube root each term and fill that into bracket 1 that you drew up. So in order to cube root things, let us remember the third law, which says that in order to get rid of a root, you just take the exponent and you have to divide it by whatever root you have. So in the instance of a cube root, let's say, for example, we want to cube root x to the power of 15, then you will just take the 15 and divide that by 3, which gives us x to the power of 5. All right, coming back to step number 3, we have to fill in bracket 2 by looking at bracket 1. That's important because we are not paying attention to the question anymore. We're only getting our answers based off what we've got in bracket 1. From there, we go on to our next set of steps here. So we're going to square our first term, change the sign, and multiply both of your terms together. So term 1 times term 2. And lastly, we square our last term. So let's put this into some practice. We've got x to the power of 3 minus y to the power of 6 down here in our example. And our first step says that we need to open out two brackets. Our second step says that we need to cube root each term and fill it into bracket 1. So the cube root of x cubed becomes x to the power of 1 because we divide the exponent with the root. Then we're going to cube root our next term, which gives us y to the power of 6 divided by 3, which is 2. For this first bracket, your sign stays the same. It does not change. Then we can go on to filling in bracket 2 by looking solely at bracket 1. We ignore the question for now. Our first step here is to square the first term. So we're taking x and we're squaring that. So that gives us x squared. Then we need to change the sign. So instead of a negative, we will write it as a positive. Our next step says that we need to multiply both of our terms together. So x times y square is xy square. And lastly, we need to square the second term. So we're taking this guy here and squaring it. So that gives us a positive y to the power of 2 times 2, which is 4. All right, so let's take this up a notch by moving on to a slightly more difficult question. We've got 216 a to the power of 9 plus 27 b cubed c to the power of 12. And we want to do sum or difference of cubes here, and we can do it because we've got perfect cubes and multiples of 3 as our exponents. So our first step, open out two brackets. Our second step is to cube root each term. So the cube root of 216 is 6. That becomes a to the power of 9 divided by 3, which is 3. Cube rooting here, we get positive 3, b to the power of 1, and c to the power of 12 divided by 3, which is 4. Now we can fill in our second bracket by looking at step 3. We need to square our first term. So that becomes 6 squared, which is 36. A to the power of 3 times that little 2 that we've got there, so a to the power of 6. Then we need to change the sign, so instead of a positive, we will write it as a negative. and we need to multiply each of our terms together. So 6a cubed times 3bc to the 4 gives us 18 a to the power of 3, b and c to the power of 4. Lastly, we need to square our second term. So we're taking this and we are going to square it. 3 squared becomes 9, b becomes squared, and it'll be c to the power of 4 times 2, which is 8. Alright, I hope this video has helped you guys out. Feel free to drop a comment if you have any questions, and like and subscribe. Thank you.